tribulations, my heart, my balls, my somebody stop, somebody come and get me. Little did I know that the Lord was riding with me. The law, the light, my heart, the fight, the wrong, the right is gone.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another JVS movie review brought to you from the Toronto Film Festival. Here is the movie that I wasn't too sure about coming into the festival. I didn't know if this was going to be something I would have time to watch. Once I watched it, I really did enjoy it. I'm happy I did make time to see it. And this one is on the come up. This is Sanaa Lathan's directorial debut. Here's a quick synopsis. 16-year-old Bree wants to be one of the greatest rappers of all time. Facing controversies and with an eviction notice staying her family down, Bree doesn't just want to make it, she has to make it. And this stars Jamila Gray, who plays Bree, Sanaa Lathan, Method Man, and then in a role, and it's the reason why I'm saying this person's lame ass here, in a role that at this point in time, I would put up against any supporting actress performance this year. And that is with Divine Joy Randolph, who is absolutely amazing in this movie. My goodness. It's rare. And I know I'm not even getting into the film yet, but I just have to say this. It's rare that you see a performance at a film festival. I've seen 20 plus movies at this film festival, and this performance is astonishing. I'm literally doing this review on my last day here, and I still remember her performance. Throughout every other film I've seen, I still remember her performance. It is so powerful. It is impactful. It does everything you need a performance to do to push a film forward in a supporting role. She's amazing in this film. But let's go back to it. So, On the Come Up is, I think, written by the same person who wrote The Hate You Give. I think she wrote The Hate You Give too. So, we're introduced early on to Bree, and we see her, and we see her passion for writing. We see her passion for rapping. We see at the beginning a heartbreaking scene with a very young Bree. And Sanaa Lathan, as her mom at this point, is hooked on drugs and has to send her kids off to stay with their grandparent because she can't deal with it in the moment with the children. And the monologue that plays at that time is an older version of Bree saying, this is the moment where my mom broke my heart. And that plays throughout this entire film, of just that innocence being lost at that moment and her having to learn how to deal with it. So we're introduced to the kids, we're introduced to Bree, we introduce her crew, we're introduced to Divine, character who plays her aunt in the film. And it goes the 8 Mile route a little bit at times. I mean, kind of predictable. We see Bree, we see her with her first big battle, she freezes up and she becomes the joke, and then she gets a second chance and then she shines. The rapping elements here, while good, the battle elements, while good, are not the part of this story that you need to be paying attention to. The part you need to be paying attention to is how this young girl is navigating her life, dealing with everything she's dealt with already. She has a mom who was hooked on drugs, who's finally clean, but she still doesn't trust her mom. She sees a neighborhood that just encompasses violence, to the extent that her father died in this neighborhood, who he plays a large role in this film of what shapes Bree, what shapes their family, including this huge mural that's beautifully painted of what's supposed to be her father, that was very reminiscent of the mural of Nipsey Hussle in Crenshaw. It's very reminiscent of that same type of mode here. And it's not that they're biting off of it at all. That's not the case here. What the case of it is a figure that's bigger than life, and you attempting to live up to that figure. And that's what that mural represented to me, was that figure is bigger than life. How can I ever live up to that? And that's the struggle that Bree deals with through the course of this entire movie. Even as she wins battles, she becomes this hood superstar, hood famous, they're not introduced to the character of Method Man, who used to manage her dad and who decided to let her know, like, hey, this is how things work in the music business. And while at times you kind of thought they would make Method Man into the sleazy record exec that we see in so many other films, instead they make him into, to me, the more honest record exec. Like, hey, this is what sells. This is what you have to do to get on. It leads to dire consequences by Bree. It leads to making this storyline go take a sharp turn into greatness, because I did not see that storyline coming. You kind of expected it to go a complete Star is Born musical type of route with the film, and it doesn't. It goes just this story about what it means to be family, what it means to fall in love, what it means to have to come up, have to get out your circumstances, and what are you willing to give up to do so. And here we get this young girl, I'm saying her name right, Jamila Gray, who plays Bree. She is really good in this film, and just as you see her innocence, you feel her struggle, you feel her trying to navigate this world, again, with this larger-than-life figure looming over her that the world wants her to be, and her still wanting to be herself, but not necessarily knowing how to speak it out and how to speak her truth, how to deal with the tough things in her life that her family has been through, understanding that you're in a sport, because battle rap is a sport. You're in a sport where they're going to use every one of your weaknesses against you, and her still trying to navigate those weaknesses, and her being comfortable enough with those weaknesses to understand that those are now strengths that can make you a better person. It's a great type of coming of age story surrounded by hip hop music, which really, really works. And again, I don't think I've seen this type of film done where there's no true bad guy, because I don't see a true bad guy in this film. And I know people may draw parallels. People may want to point Method Man as the bad guy. You may want to point some of the other rappers who we see it come across the way as the bad guy. None of them are actually bad guys to me. They are just going down the path of success, the path that makes you successful, the path that can get you and make you and change your family's life. So you got to kind of understand that element of it. Once you do, you can appreciate this film and the truthfulness that it tells, the story is portraying here, while still being inclusive and including everybody humanly possible in it. Even some of the side storylines are really funny, really good, really touching. I think Sanaa here, for her directorial debut, picked the perfect story. And she gives a phenomenal performance also in this film. But she picks the perfect story, because this is the type of story that, to me, works on so many different layers of how you break it down. The importance of speaking your own truth, becoming your own person. The understanding that words have consequences that you have to deal with, along with a completely different side story in the film that leads to over-policing, police brutality. While it's not jammed down your throat, it's put in the story well enough where it doesn't feel like it's overdone, but it's put in there enough for you to understand how this all makes the package of this character Bree better, stronger, and more self-aware of her situation, which in turn makes the movie really, really good. So, on the come up from the Toronto Film Festival, out of a possible 10, I'm going to get a come up on the come up in 8.5 out of 10. This is one of those great type of music biopics that I think you can sit around, you can watch over and over and over again. It is gut-wrenching at times, it's heartbreaking, it's touching, it's funny. All the kid actors are great in it. Method Man is great in it, and Miss Divine Randolph, again, Oscar caliber performance in this movie. It is amazing what she does with this character. This character is constantly truth-telling in this film, but from a place of humbleness and from a place of sincerity where you can see the love there. But her having to try to teach her niece the understanding of what it means to be in this business. And through what she's saying is why you understand that Method Man's character in this movie is not evil. He just understands the way to work the game and the semantics in it. But she gives a great performance, something that I'm looking forward to during award season, because I better see her name on something, because if it's not on something, and again, I'm coming out here saying 20 films, and a lot of these films are films that it will be on everyone's top 10 list. Her performance is a top 10 performance of this year that needs to be celebrated. This has been another JVS movie review. Peace, people.